Hello, I'm Dr. Maury Markman from Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and I would like to discuss briefly an extremely important, very complex topic that relates to the future of cancer management, cancer prevention, cancer risk globally. An extremely interesting paper recently published in The Lancet. The citation is 2022. Volume 400, pages 563 to 591, paper entitled The Global Burden of Cancer Attributable to Risk Factors 2010 to 2019, a systematic analysis for the Global Burden of Disease Study 2019. It is difficult to adequately point out the tour de force to conduct such analysis. The paper, which I would encourage all to read, and certainly those who are interested in societal issues of cancer, cancer prevention, I would encourage this paper, looking at a variety of databases across the world, looking at vital statistics, health data from various countries, try to come up with a summary of cancer and how we might approach it from the perspective of behavioral issues. What this paper did, specifically looking at 2019, looked at risk factors that might be modifiable, that we today understand that if we could influence them, we could reduce the risk of cancer. They looked at a total of 4,450,000 cancer deaths in the year 2019 and concluded that 44%, almost half of these cancer deaths, could have been prevented with behavioral modification. In other words, the major risk factors that we know for these cancers related to behavioral strategies, which include very specifically, very well known, smoking, alcohol, and dietary effects, predominantly high BMI, obesity. Smoking, alcohol, high BMI. What was notable about this paper, important about this paper, is we know about these risk factors. We've known about them for decades. But this analysis very pointedly, very directly calls out the question. 44% of cancers worldwide potentially prevented if we could eliminate smoking, modify alcohol, and somehow figure out how to deal with the metabolic effects of high BMI. In addition, this group looked at the year 2010 to 2019 and noted that the risk of these attributable cancers actually increased 20%. Deaths from these attributable cancers increased 20% in this period, 2010 to 2019, and of perhaps even greater concern if we look at the metabolic, this dietary issue from the year 2010 to 2019, the risk of deaths from this effect increased 35%, 1/3 higher in this 9-year period of time. It is really difficult to overstate the magnitude of the issue being addressed in this analysis when one considers the cost of cancer care, surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, the burden on families, the economic impact on societies with loss of life and a loss of life that is economically relevant, the incredible burden of pain and suffering associated with advanced cancers. When one considers all those factors and then says, and 44% of these cancers could potentially be prevented through behavioral modification, it is difficult to ignore the facts in front of us. This is a very important paper, a very important analysis. Obviously, it's very easy to say we have a problem. Pointing to solutions, of course, is much harder. But I would hope that those who are responsible for public policy, responsible for running governments, responsible for public health in this country and elsewhere will further support the argument that we need to make the changes in behaviors. The burden of cancer upon us with the aging of societies across the world, the burden will only increase. And we need to begin to talk about potential pilots for solutions, as well as major societal efforts to impact this. Otherwise, we are going to see a tsunami of cancer in societies across the world in the years and decades to come. And that would be a tragedy because they're preventable, as many as 1/2. I thank you for your attention. I would encourage you to read this extremely important paper in The Lancet. Thank you.